Don't take your eyes off the screen. Storms gaining strength right now in the Atlantic. We're ahead of those storms to keep you safe. Out of the sky, this plane makes a deadly plunge near Lake Worth tonight. How it could have been so much worse. And the emotional meltdown on the clay. It's been the talk of tennis, and now the reasons Serena will have to pay up.
CBS 12 News starts now with breaking news.
And that breaking news as we come on the air this Sunday night, a triple threat in the tropics. Look at that. 2 hurricanes, 1 tropical storm, all churning in the Atlantic, as you can see right now. And the new hurricane, Helene, forming just a short time ago. But it's really all eyes on Hurricane Florence right now as she's marching on towards the East Coast. We have live team coverage tonight, beginning with CBS 12 meteorologist Michael Ehrenberg. And Michael, you know, Florence really has a long ways to go where it's located now, but really we never know.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. It's still early to tell exactly where Florence is going, but the confidence is increasing that Florence will be impacting the Carolinas later in the week, lessening the threat to South Florida. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Isaac about to become a hurricane, and Helene named a hurricane late this afternoon. We begin with Florence. It's getting a little bit more symmetric. Hurricane hunters in there finding top winds now of 85 miles per hour in Florence. It's moving west slowly at 7 miles per hour. Low wind shear, very warm waters will lead to the system becoming quickly a major hurricane by later Monday and Tuesday. Look at this, a 4 with 145-mile-an-hour winds, could be 150. Impact right now seems to be, again, in this cone anywhere from Charleston, South Carolina, up to northeastern North Carolina later Thursday and Thursday night and Friday. Problem is, some of the models forecast a stalling system here. That means it could be a prolific rainmaker with 10 to 20 inches of rain. Soil already saturated here, lots of flooding likely, as well as the wind and storm surge damage. Meanwhile, no direct impacts expected here in South Florida from Florence, fortunately, but we will be looking at a high impact from a swell. Could be 6 to 9 feet late in the week, especially in the Treasure Coast. High risk for rip currents, and this is all going to cause another bout of beach erosion here across South Florida, again, later on in the week. Meanwhile, there's Tropical Storm Isaac and now Hurricane Helene. We do need to focus in on Isaac more closely for South Florida. Isaac now has top winds of 70. Remember, this time yesterday it was 40. Forecast to quickly become a hurricane, but then weaken as it moves into the Caribbean. So that would certainly be good news. Why will it weaken? Well, it's eventually going to get entangled in the wind shear. This blue and green you see here is high amounts of wind shear, unfavorable for development, and it's going to be in that wind shear environment through the Caribbean. So hopefully it weakens, but we still see a lot of uncertainty in the models. Some models moving it west and other models moving it north out into the Atlantic. Helene, again, no threat to the U.S. It quickly moves to the north and across the central part of the Atlantic. Coming up in moments, we'll take a look at the longer range models on Isaac, the European versus the American, our day-by-day wave forecast, and tomorrow's hour-by-hour forecast coming your way as well.
All right, Michael, be prepared for the worst. Those are the words from Governor Rick Scott today, warning all Floridians to be careful as Hurricane Florence approaches the East Coast. Scott said, quote, with Florence strengthening into a hurricane this morning and continuing to move east, Florida families need to remain alert and remember that storms like this can change course and strengthen at any moment. Right now, there's a state of emergency in 3 states. You see right there the governors of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia making that declaration as Florence continues to churn out in the Atlantic. Now, this afternoon, the governor of South Carolina warning people in his state to get ready. Take a listen.
Whatever happens, we're going to have a lot of rain and a lot of wind. Even if the hurricane goes farther north than is anticipated in this graphic, we're still going to have a lot of water and a lot of wind. So what that means is we need to be prepared.
Good idea there, and it looks like some people are taking the governor's advice. New video from Charleston, look at this, showing people loading sandbags into their cars. And coming up in just minutes, we continue our live team coverage as we track the tropics up to the minute. How people are getting ready with just 24 hours until the peak of hurricane season. And even when we're not on the air, of course, you can stay up to date on the tropics and the latest storm tracks. All you need to do is download our CBS 12 weather app. Just type WPEC in the App Store. Well, weather a big factor in this afternoon's Dolphins game. Dolphins fans getting way more than they bargained for with a 1 p.m. start to their season opener that just ended. That's right, and you can chalk it up all to a lightning delay. John Evanson just back from Hard Rock Stadium tonight, live in studio. And John, talk about an uninvited guest here.
Yeah, Paul, not just one lightning delay, but two now. And funny thing is, it's been sunny for most of these lightning delays, but the lightning strikes were close enough to Hard Rock Stadium to put the game on hold for almost 2 hours to start. Now, there's no end in sight as I've come back to the studio here, and this was the scene when the first announcement was made for the players to leave the field and the fans to leave the stands with exactly 1:11 left in the first half, and Dolphins leading 7-3. Now, several new restart times were pushed back further as the lightning strikes continued within just a few miles of the stadium. The game finally started again, but midway through the third quarter, yet another lightning delay, and 30 seconds or 30 minutes after each strike, they have to reset the clock and wait it out for another 30 minutes. So they are still waiting as we speak. Of course, weather always seems to be a factor to start the Dolphins season. Last year, the opening game was rescheduled, of course, because of Hurricane Irma. Luckily, no hurricane here this time, but no indication as to when this game will get restarted. They're on hold right now. Hopefully, we'll have a Fins final for you tonight, Paul.
A lot of fans there getting nervous. All right,
Yeah.
John. More breaking news right now. A twin-engine plane bursting into flames, falling out of the sky, killing the two people on board. That plane landing right in the middle of John Prince Park. Of course, that is just west of Lake Worth, and that is where we find CBS 12's Chuck Weber. And the question now, Chuck, any word on a cause?
Paul, we're working to get that information right now. We do know investigators have been here at the crash site through the afternoon, and now more than one witness has told us that plane just seemed to be flying too low. These are still photos taken from video shot by two bystanders moments after a twin-engine aircraft fell from the sky into John Prince Park, west of Lake Worth. We consider the videos too graphic to air in their entirety.
I told my dad, my uncle, that it was like too close to the ground and I knew it was going to crash.
Osvaldo Campos says he was at the gym with his father, uncle, and cousin when he saw the plane appear to have problems.
And it turned and went up, and it spun and went straight down.
Campos says he heard the plane crash.
It's like a big bomb. It went vroom.
Campos says he and family members went to help. Others already at the park wanted to do what they could. Sadly, all they could do was watch as flames shot out of the plane.
It was fully engulfed in flames. There are fatalities on the aircraft. Nobody survived.
Captain Albert Verado of Palm Beach County Fire Rescue says first arriving crews put out the flames. The sheriff's office tells us 2 people on board are dead. Fire Rescue says no one on the ground was hurt. Very fortunate, since seemingly many people were in the park at the time.
Oh, I was like so scared, and like, what should I do?
Yeah, this could have been a lot worse. Lantana Airport is only about a mile to the south of us. We don't know yet, though, if that's where this plane was headed. We'll bring you any updates. Live west of Lake Worth, Chuck Weber, CBS 12 News.
The investigation continues, and CBS 12 News first brought you this breaking news with a push alert to your cell phone. For immediate updates and to stay on top of all the breaking news, just download our CBS 12 News app. It's free. On the court controversy. Remember this? Yeah, Serena Williams fined for her bad behavior during the U.S. Open final. The big surprise today from her coach. And emergency evacuations underway. The fast-growing wildfire here exploding in size. Look at that. And what firefighters are hoping for tonight. New tonight, Serena Williams' coach making a big revelation one day after the tennis star's mega meltdown. Patrick Mouratoglou admitted he was coaching her, but doesn't believe that she saw him. Now, this comes just one day after this. Serena losing the U.S. Open after the ref made the call. Some say costing Serena the game. That's when she went off on him, calling him a thief, demanding an apology. She said today, though, that she's fighting for women's equality, that she and other women should be treated just like men playing on the court. Serena is also speaking out, saying she's going to fight for women's equality on the clay. She said women are not treated equally as men, and as for that outburst, Williams has now been fined $17,000. Okay, we're tracking some breaking news happening right now. Coming into the newsroom, the search for a missing Florida State student from South Florida. The new details just in. New details all the time with Michael.
That's right, Paul. We continue to track Hurricane Florence now gaining strength across the central Atlantic. The indirect impacts felt here across South Florida and when it will move into the Carolinas coming up shortly.
Way FM, proud partner of the CBS 12 News Network, the one to turn to.
CBS 12 News outerwear is provided by Under Armour.
And we are tracking even more breaking news happening right now. Palm Beach County Fire Rescue on scene of a stabbing near West Palm Beach. Here is the tweet. It's happening near Crest Haven Boulevard and Havenwood Road. One person, they say, taken by helicopter to a local hospital. Of course, we're working to get more details on this story as it continues to unfold. Also tracking more breaking news, the missing Florida State student from South Florida. The good news here has been found alive. There he is. The Leon County Sheriff's Office announced on Facebook this afternoon that they found Justin Shield and he is alive. No other details right now released. Authorities began using dogs this weekend to expand their search for the 19-year-old from Southwest Miami-Dade. Shields had last been seen on Wednesday. New video tonight of this fast-moving wildfire. Look at this in Napa County, California, more than quadrupling in size, of course, prompting a whole lot of evacuations. The so-called Snell fire burning nearly 2,000 acres, just 10% contained right now. Nearly 200 homes evacuated. Firefighters hoping the winds will die down so they can get that wildfire under control. In less than 24 hours, we will be entering the peak of hurricane season, and although we are not expecting a direct hit from the storms hovering over the Atlantic right now, they can be a real wake-up call for what may come. CBS 12's Nyala Charles live tonight in West Palm with how people are actually getting ready right now for hurricane season. Nyala?
Well, Paul, September is the most active month of hurricane season. That's why it's best prepared now. And that's what we've seen many people here at Sam's Club doing. They say they're stopping in to make sure they're prepared for the worst.
Irma. that was a trip.
Irma may have hit Florida almost a year ago, but the memory is still fresh for everyone stocking up on supplies.
Well, our lights was out for about a week.
Isaac Roll has lived in Florida for more than 40 years.
I've been through mild hurricanes, tropical storms. The major hurricanes that I've ever been through was, I think it was maybe David.
But he says Irma was not like the others. It was sneaky.
It was like one of those things where, ooh, I should have been paying attention.
He was left scrambling last minute. So this hurricane season, he's paying attention.
Basically, we kind of just watching and waiting and seeing what's going on.
Making sure to stock up on supplies early. So if a hurricane came today, would you be ready for it?
Yes, I would be ready for it.
The people here say the most important things on their list are water, batteries, and candles. Reporting live from West Palm Beach, Nyala Charles, CBS 12 News.
Should always have those things ready. All right, Nyala, thank you. Michael is here, and Michael, you have so much to break down for us right now. The big question, though, as we've been saying, will it affect us?
Well, Florence, Paul, it looks like it's going to impact the Carolinas. So nothing indirect, no wind or rain, but we're going to be getting swell, beach erosion, and rip currents late in the week.
The water.
The water, yes. The surface level, but it's going to kind of batter our beaches. And Isaac, remains to be seen there. But yes, we've got lots to talk about, folks, tonight. 2 hurricanes, 1 tropical storm. Let's get right to it here. Of course, the closest system, Florence, of more immediate concern to the Carolinas. Florence, if you joined us yesterday, it was weak and disheveled with a lot of wind shear. The wind shear has relaxed. The water temperatures are toasty warm, so we have a hurricane again, and a strengthening hurricane. Top winds are 85. Florence moving west at 7 miles per hour, expected to quickly become a major hurricane, a 3, a 4. Top winds 150 here, south and west of Bermuda, with landfall somewhere in the Carolinas in this cone of uncertainty later Thursday and on into early Friday. And at the top of the broadcast, like I've been talking about, the models actually kind of spin it around here and slowly weaken it. So it could be a major flooding event for residents of the Carolinas with up to 20 inches of rain possible. Here's a look at the waves emanating out from the wind pushing against the water from Hurricane Florence, and 40 to 50-foot waves near the center here. A lot of erosion and big swells up there across the Carolinas. But again, even here in South Florida, distant hurricanes can produce a swell. 6 to 9 foot swells off the northern Treasure Coast by Thursday, 5 to 8 off the southern Treasure Coast, and 3 to 5 off of the Palm Beach County coast. This is Thursday. That will continue to be the case on into Friday, and then those swells will slowly go down on the weekend. So surfers, you love it, but again, it will cause beach erosion with a high rip current risk out there. So again, no wind from this storm, but rough and choppy seas coming our way late in the week where the wind's no more than 10 miles an hour. Corey, here is Isaac out there tonight. Isaac is top winds of 70 miles an hour, about to become a hurricane, moving west at 12 miles an hour. It's expected to become a hurricane here, but then it will undergo bouts of moderate to high wind shear, slowly weakening as it moves into the Caribbean. Where does it go from there? Let's take a look at our reliable models, the European model. It actually weakens the system down to a point of just a remnant low later on next weekend into early next week. This is the following week. This would be a good solution with just some rain moving into Central America. The GFS or American model completely loses the system altogether. Definitely more good news here with barely anything remaining as it moves into the Western Caribbean, again, in about a week and a half's time period. Not saying we're off the hook yet here in South Florida. We do need to watch it carefully, but at least for now, there are no models that bring it to South Florida. Stay tuned for further updates. Of course, the water temperature warm enough for all of these systems to intensify, but again, with wind shear with Isaac, we again hope for a slow demise across the Central Caribbean. Yep, peak of the hurricane season, one day away, so you know what? This is really not all that much of a surprise here on September 9th. Locally, it's quiet across Palm Beach County. We're following some scattered showers and storms over Okeechobee County, Vero Beach, Sebastian area, rumbles of thunder, downpours coming your way, and these could last until late evening, as you'll notice in the hour-by-hour forecast. And then overnight, it's quiet. We start you Monday with lots of sunshine. Drier air comes in tomorrow, so storm chances almost non-existent. There's 3 p.m., 4 p.m., just a spotty shower or storm out there, and that is about it. With rain chances lowest the next few days going up a little bit as we head towards Thursday and also your Friday. Forecast for tonight, again, some spotty showers mainly up north, otherwise partly cloudy, warm, muggy. Your low at 73. Tomorrow, your Monday, back to work and school. A dry day overall for most of us, just a passing shower. That's it. With your high at 89. Here's your 7-day forecast where the weekend's always in view. So drier the next few days, higher rain chances, and again, beach erosion, rough surf and rip currents for the end of the week. New forecast tracks coming your way at 11. We'll see you then.
Now, the South Florida Honda Sports Report.
Well, last year, the Miami Dolphins had their season opener postponed till later on in the season because of Hurricane Irma. Why we are obviously thankful not to have a hurricane here this year. It was another weather phenomenon wreaking havoc on this year's season opener. We can't show you highlights yet because this game is officially still in action, but this was the scene at 2:15 p.m., the beginning of what was an almost 2-hour lightning delay. The Dolphins were leading 7-3 at the time, and those fans had a long wait, those who stayed, because this was the scene just after 5 when the game was delayed for a second time, with the score still 7-3 Dolphins in the third quarter. Now we have an update. Last check, Dolphins on the field as we speak, warming up. The game is scheduled to resume at 6:55 p.m. And yes, the Dolphins will be trying to hold on to that 7-3 lead that they've had for the past 5 hours. If you think the NFL season is getting off to a wacky start here in South Florida, Cleveland had not won a game in almost 2 full calendar years. Today, the losing streak is over, yet they have yet to win a game. Former Dolphin star Jarvis Landry getting into it with Pittsburgh's Artie Burns here. Burns called for an unsportsmanlike conduct. Yes, that is unsportsmanlike. I think that's the right term for it. Things get really ugly for the Steelers right here. James Conner fumbles. Jabril Peppers picks it up, kicks it to the one eventual touchdown on the next play. Fourth quarter, former Bills QB Tyrod Taylor gets it to Josh Gordon. 17-yard touchdown, tied at 21 at this point. Both teams missed field goals to potentially win it. Chris Boswell misses the 42-yard field goal attempt right there, and Cleveland fans are rejoicing. Then Zane Gonzalez for the Cleveland win. Not happening. Blocked by TJ Watt. Those free beer fridges were so ready to be unlocked. This one ends in a 21-21 tie. Can you believe it? It was an if you don't laugh, you'd cry type cheer at Cleveland bars, a Bronx cheer, if you will, as Cleveland fans celebrate perhaps, the losing streak's over, but they can't embrace that winning feeling yet, an irony that does not sit well with the head coach.
I think the guys can see that we're an improved football team, but there are some areas we got to clean up fast, and we will. But, again, the guys fought, disappointed for our fans, didn't want them to go home without a victory. I didn't want our players to go home without a victory.
All right, so the 0-1 Browns will go for that win again next week in New Orleans. Now, you heard of this. these fridges, they're locked in the bars. And when they win, they instantly unlock these fridges, and everyone in Cleveland gets to drink free beer.
You have to be careful with that.
It was close today.
It's
not my idea.
Speaking of being cautious, let's be cautious with all these storms out there, Michael.
Yes, we're following the storms out there in the Atlantic, Paul. Also, we're tracking some showers and storms on the northern Treasure Coast now. Vero Beach, Indian River States, Indian River Shores, heavy downpours, gusty winds for the next hour or so. And then we see it clearing out late tonight with low temperatures in the mid-70s. Drier, low rain chances Monday, Tuesday, increasing rain chances late in the week.
Lots going on, and let's hope that Dolphins game finishes sometime today.
The lightning down there.
Crazy, yeah.
Crazy.
Not up
It is
here, but down
crazy.
across
Sunny,
Miami-Dade.
but dangerous.
Very. All right, thanks for watching us here at CBS 12 News at 6:30. 60 Minutes is next, and of course, we will join you right back here at 11 tonight.
Fins final, hopefully.